Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Emer Fishing Freak. In today's video, we're going to be talking all about catching sharks. Let's get straight into it. Alright, so we're back at it again with another fishing and how-to style video. The last one we did was with gar, and it's kind of like a series that I did about a year ago, where I only did about 10 species for it. I was going to try to go through my whole species list, but I was doing a how to catch. All those videos turned out really bad. You can go watch them if you want. They're not really any good, but these kind of videos are basically a better version of them, and this is going to be the second one. I don't know how many I'm actually going to do, but the reason behind this video is, if you don't know, if you do know, today is the first day of Shark Week, and I didn't have any other content, so I thought, would there be a better time to make this video? So I'm going to talk about, for the first 4 or 5 minutes, I'm going to talk about different ways to catch sharks on the flats, because that's mainly what I do. And then I'm going to basically put a montage of a bunch of sharks that I've caught. I'll also leave the species in the bottom, one of the bottom quarters. I'm pretty sure it's flipped, or I don't know which corner it's going to be in, but it's going to be in the bottom. So let's get into the how-to. Alright, so to start off today's video, I am going to be talking about how to catch sharks on the flats. Now, I'm talking specific for me in Tampa Bay on the flats. Now, I'm sure this tactic will work on any flats that you have around Florida or any other southeastern states. I don't know about the West Coast. We're just going to ignore them for now. So, when I fish for sharks, which most of the time we manage to catch them as a bycatch, but I will sight fish them if they come up next to the boat. It's just on our trout, snook, redfish setup, live bait, bobber fishing setup. So all it is a 3/0 circle hook on the end of a 3-foot leader. Now this is monofilament. Most people will say to use steel leader, but I've never had a problem with monofilament. I mean, we've been broken off before, but most people will act like they get bit off every single time, or we'll have a 80-90% chance of that shark staying on the hook. So I'll have 2 to 3 foot of 35-pound monofilament leader, I believe, and then that'll go up to 25-pound braid, 15 at the lightest. 15 is what we use on our artificial rods, and 25 is what we use on our live bait rods. So 25-pound braid is what we use whenever we catch sharks. 25-pound Power Pro, I believe. And then at the top of that leader, where it connects to the braid, we add a weighted, just bobber. We use a weighted bobber so we can cast out further. But if you're sight fishing these sharks on the flats, it doesn't really matter if you have a bobber or not. I'm going to get into more stuff with the bobber in a minute. Alright, so now I'm going to talk about baits and chums. Now, at least in Tampa Bay, chum is not completely necessary. If you're really going after sharks, you can sit there for about an hour and you'll have a couple sharks swim by you, or you can troll over the flat and try to sight fish them as you drive by them, because sharks, they are still finicky whenever they're at the size, which these flat sharks are 2, 3, 4 feet long at the max. They are still finicky to a boat motor, but they are not like redfish or snook, where they'll scram out of the area. They'll be afraid of it, but they won't blast out of there. You'll have time to cast out. Now, if you want to add chum, it helps. You'll get sharks through the boat quicker, and you'll have a heavier population of them as that chum slick spreads out. But it'll also draw in other fish like snappers and trout if you're fishing over a flat, which can be a bycatch, or you can have a shark fishing rig off the back while you're just fishing an artificial or another live bait rig for a trout. For baits, whenever you're catching these 2 to 4 foot sharks, anything. I've caught sharks on the flats with cut pieces of frozen threadfin, shrimp, live or dead, greenbacks. It's really endless what you can use. If it's live or dead, as long as it's natural, a shark will eat it if you can get its attention. Now, I was earlier talking about how the bobber can actually have a different action to it. Basically, there's a rig for trout called the equalizer rattle trap or something that you put a DOA shrimp on the end of. But basically, you do the same thing with this bobber. You just pop it, and it'll usually get that shark's attention. But by the time it looks up at it, your shrimp or cut piece of bait or live fish or whatever you've got on there will be at the surface as well. So that by the time the shark notices that your bobber is not its food source, it'll turn around or notice that shrimp flicking in the water, and it will go and attack it. Alright, so now for rod and reels. For flat sharks, which, as I'm going to say again, are about 2 to 4 foot, bonnetheads are mainly in Tampa Bay, but along with black tips, small lemons, if you can find a bull, anything along that sort, you're going to want probably a medium action rod, medium heavy at the largest. You can catch them on light too, if you want a good fight out of them, but if you want to be conservative, safe, you can use medium heavy, but I'd say that's about a max. Now for the reel size, you'd probably want to use about a 3000. That's what we use, and it handles all the sharks perfectly fine. Now once again, we have 25-pound braid on that, onto 35-pound monofilament leader with a 3/0 circle hook. Now, let's go into the second part of today's video. Alright guys, now I actually realized one thing that I missed on talking about that I need to talk about, and that is landing sharks and handling them properly. Now, we all know sharks have teeth, and sharks like to try to bite. So, whenever you're trying to land the shark, it is best to use a net or wrap your hand around the leader and pull it up. Don't try to grab the shark while it's still in the water, because that is where sharks are really muscly, like jacks, and they're also very flexible because they do not actually have bones in them. They've got cartilage, and they can whip around and they can almost bite their tail. So if your arm is right here trying to grab the tail, they can whip around and bite you. And luckily these 2 to 4 foot sharks would not kill you, but you don't really want to get bit by a shark. So whenever you're holding one, once you've got it out of the water, make sure you use pliers to remove the hook, because you do not, once again, want to stick your fingers in the shark's mouth. You want to be holding it, your arm around the base of the tail. You'll see this in a couple of the pictures. And then either your hand behind the fin or in front of the fin. The difference between them is in front of the fin, you've got more control over the shark because you've got pressure on their gills, and their gills are one of their sensitive spots, and they will calm down. But the only bad part about that is that you're almost covering up the shark's face for pictures, is all I'm saying. If you want to put it behind the fin, you've still got control over the shark. It's just not as, it can thrash around more. But if you have a tight grip, it's better for pictures, because you can see the shark's front half. That's the cool part about the shark. Alright, let's get into the montage. So now we are going to get into the montage of shark fishing. Now, I would include my 6 foot black tip that I caught, but that was not using any of the tackle that I described in today's video. And I've got 2 whole videos already set up for that. So I'll leave a link in the description below if you want to watch the full uncut version of me catching my 6 foot black tip. I hope you enjoy. Let's get straight into the clips. That's a good Bonnethead. another one right there.
Bigger one.
Come on, shark.
There he goes, there he goes, there he goes.
Yes! Alright. He's got it again. He's got it, right? He's trying to eat it.
Trying to.
Oh yeah, he's got it. Should I hook him?
Just let him run. He'll set himself.
Alright, I don't want to gut hook him though. I'm gonna try it.
Alright.
Got him. Yes! Yes! Yeah, it's a black tip, I think. Am I doing catch and job and net duty? Yeah, on it. Yes, I got him. All right, cool. Catch duty and net duty.
Haven't seen it yet. Shark. Yeah. Is that a sharpnose? I want to get a picture. Oh, not the motor, not the motor. He's mad, isn't he? Nope.
Well, the net too, right?
Go on, let him. Bring over here beside the boat.
I want a picture with him though.
Actually, let me get the boat.
Big shark.
Come over here.
Oh god. Shark.
Bring him over here.
Alright. Oh god. Alright. That's a nice bonnethead.
Got a bonnet?
Yep.
Settle down there, princess.
Alrighty, everybody. So, I hope you enjoyed that. Most of those clips you can find on other videos around the channel, but I thought I'd just add them into this video to add some fishing to it, because I don't like videos on YouTube when I watch YouTube. I don't like videos of just people talking. I like to see some fishing involved. So, that's all we have for today's video. If you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next episode of Emery Fishing Freak. Bye-bye.